Brown from Montgomery College Television, and I'll be your moderator for today's town hall. We are at the Cultural Arts Center in the Lobby Art Gallery on the campus of Takoma Park, Silver Spring, and Dr. Pollard is really looking forward to hearing from you today. As always, if you're watching online and you're nearby, why don't you come on over and join us? We'd love to have you here with us. We encourage everyone to ask questions, to offer opinions, introduce new topics of discussion. Now, if you are watching online or you're watching on MCTV, you can email your question at any time to townhall@montgomerycollege.edu, or you can send them in via Twitter @MontgomeryCall using the hashtag AskDrPollard. And we're going to try to get to as many of your questions as we can during the time we have today. You can help us do that by keeping your questions brief. One final note, whether you're here in the room or you're watching online, please make sure you identify yourself before you ask your question. And now, Dr. Pollard, the floor is yours.
Thank you. How about give it a hand to the voice of Montgomery College? I love listening to the events on MCTV, and I was like, I know that voice. So I called the other day the IT helpline for something, and there was your voice. So you're everywhere. Good afternoon, everybody. It's lovely to be here in the gallery. The Encore Full-Time Faculty Exhibition that's here. So please take a time to look at the art before you leave. It's always a great opportunity. And we have a lot of firsts. So this is the first time I think I've actually done the town hall meeting in this space. But I also think it's lovely that we're celebrating lots of firsts here happening at the college. On the Rockville campus, our North Garage just opened in January, making parking easier. And then just this morning, we had the ribbon cutting for the Science West Center, which is literally one of the spaces that completes the science complex, the STEM complex on that particular campus. A 3-building, massive complex is really dedicated to STEM and helping prepare the next generation of scientists and engineers and nurses and biologists and all kinds of great things. I think the other thing we're very excited about, just the other day I did a tour of the new Central Services facility that we're purchased and is going through the final stages of construction. One of the big things about that space is that we're going to save the college a lot of money, about $40 million over the next 30 years. So I'm quite excited about that, but also to produce some efficiencies in how we work, bringing people together, and more importantly, I think really advancing the work of the college with one collective voice and purpose. So I'm going to do a couple of announcements to talk about a few things, and then I'll move into open questions, so we'll go from there. Just a few things that folks have asked me about as I've been walking around the college community. One, a lot of people have been talking about what's next in terms of facilities. In fact, this morning I was asked that. So obviously at the Rockville campus we'll be looking at our Student Services building in the near future. But what's really exciting right now, because we are at our Takoma Park Silver Spring campus, is that we are advocating fiercely for this particular project, our math and science building here. For us, it is an equity issue as well as it's helping us to be an economic and workforce development issue. We know that we have a robust health sciences program here. We know that every student, if they're going to earn an associate's degree and or a bachelor's degree in the state of Maryland, they must take a science class, they must take a math class. So we want to have facilities that allow our faculty to shine in the way that they can do in their teaching, but also to have spaces where our students are able to produce the work that they need to do to demonstrate their learning. We're going to be doing massive outreach and advocacy on that. In fact, we have already been doing that just this year. I love the fact that our council president, Berliner, knew exactly what to say this morning because I had already been in his office earlier this week talking with him about that facility and advocating. The other thing I should tell you is that we're going to need your help. We're going to need your help talking with the community, helping to do advocacy. So when you start receiving those notes and asking you to roll out, that's what we mean. In fact, and what I think is very powerful to say in this space, because we have been moving toward a one college philosophy for so long, I was with the students at Student Advocacy Day last week while we were in Annapolis. And you know what I loved? I loved walking in on the Rockville student council members who were there talking, advocating for the Takoma Park Math and Science building. That to me said a lot about where we have come as an organization. Guess what? Went down the hallway and heard the Germantown students doing the same exact thing. So there's something very powerful about having a collective purpose and mission about how we're going to do this work. The last thing I should probably talk to you about, I think it might be the last thing, budget. I know lots of people are actively engaged in this conversation right now. Our total appropriation request is, and I'm not going to quiz Dr. Wormack, but I'll say this, $313,720,015. That's a lot of money. It is an increase of about 0.4% over our budget from last year. And these new funds, we are also asking the county for about $7.4 million in new funds for the next fiscal year. Those new funds are specifically for compensation and benefits for our employees. They're for salary improvements in FY18. I will say there are no new major initiatives that we have asked funding for. In fact, before we even went to the county to ask for a budget, we have cut significantly of our own to align the structural deficit that we saw there. We lowered that projected cost, that projected gap for 18 by about $9.3 million. The gap is due to a difference in expected revenue versus what has actually come in. And I will tell you, a lot of folks ask about this. All Maryland community colleges, and actually higher ed in general across the country, is that we have seen an enrollment decline. Here's a proof in the pudding about the economy. The economy, slow down folks, is getting better. It has been for the last several years. We know this because people are going back to work, and we know that then enrollments in community colleges and higher education contracts. Our four-year institutions typically can just admit more students. They'll do that. For us, who are open access institutions, our students decide, I can be making more money working, so they will go and do that. Oftentimes, they have to make a choice between taking 3 classes or 2 classes, and they're choosing to take fewer classes. Our decline has been about 5.5%. That's about 1,400 students less than last year. But this is also a part of our relationship and dependence on MCPS. MCPS, I won't have Dr. Lynch do an analysis of this, but it's a very complex set of algorithms they do to anticipate enrollment. The big thing to know is that MCPS had a dip in the number of students who graduated last year, actually the last 2 years, and also next year. So we're going to be working very diligently to understand that phenomenon, but also to prepare for the surge that's scheduled to start coming in FY19. So I call these our correction years because what we didn't do necessarily is contract the budget enough when we were seeing the enrollment decline start. And now it's here, so we're spending some time doing that. It's a healthy part of running a complex organization. But we still have a budget of what? $313,720,015. We are a healthy organization going through the same types of conversations that are had in higher education across the institution. Tuition continues to be an issue we want to look at with affordability. Our budget this year assumes a 2.9% tuition increase. This is important, but it also is significant because it allows our students to still have that third. That's the master plan for higher education in the state of Maryland. Wanted students to pay a third of the tuition, a third of the revenue for the institution, a third from the state, and a third from the county. So we had actually had a high, I think, in 11 of students paying about 40%. We've gotten it down to about 32.3%, which I think is an important thing to note. This budget advances our employees because, again, the only new money that we're asking for is compensation and benefits for our employees. And we're also using our own dollars to realign our work around achieving the promise, achieving the dream, enhancing scholarship funding, adding new personnel for security, and also one-time funds to advance our open educational resources. The last thing I'll say, because a lot of people have been asking about this, has been our work regarding our students who were affected by the executive order. I know that you've seen a memo that went out from me to the college community that talked about that, and then earlier this week the General Counsel also sent something out to help people be aware of some of the dynamics. We have about 6,700 international students in our credit programs here at Montgomery College. It's about 28% of our credit students. That number jumps significantly when we add our non-credit students into that. We know we have about 200 students who were affected from the countries that were in the executive order, and about 7 employees who are also in that mix. We're doing a lot of work to help reach out to them. I know our human resources area has reached out to the employees. Our international student coordinators on each campuses have reached out to the students who are impacted about that. And then our students are being our students. Here on this campus, they hosted a forum, actually 2 forums that they've had to talk about this issue. And I think it's very powerful to create spaces for people to explore them. And then the other thing is that we also have our county that we live in, or excuse me, our faculty council passed a resolution of support and have been very diligent in making sure that they get information to our students. And then last but not least, our county that we live in. We live in a county where our county executive and our county council, our police chief, have been very loud and proud about the fact of who we are as a community, who we intend to be as a community, and what their commitment is to not asking regarding immigration status for folks who are detained by law enforcement or have some interaction with them. And then our Attorney General just yesterday joined the 14 other states in the District of Columbia to file an amicus brief, and then he was also given authority by the legislature to be able to file suit on behalf of the state of Maryland. So there's a lot of things happening in this space, but I'm proud to live in Montgomery County. I'm proud to live in Maryland. I'm also proud to work in an institution that's dedicated to these issues and spends a lot of time thinking about how to make things happen. I think our job as a higher education sector is to be thinking about how we create space and place to talk about these issues. I have to tell you, I started this year, it was one of my personal goals to do a series of dinner parties at my house. And I'm inviting friends from different walks of life. My table can seat 8, and there's 2 of us, me and Robin, and then 6 other people. And we're actually sitting and bringing people together to talk, because I don't think we have enough spaces in our community to talk. But where I do think we can do that and do it well is the community college. We are probably, in my mind, one of the only institutions that can really step into that space. So as a result of that, I'm launching a presidential lecture series or discussion series, and we're entitling it Civility in Action, Living the Conversation About Difference. And each month, we have over the rest of the semester 4 speakers who you'll be seeing more information come out about, talking about issues of policing, issues of racial reconciliation, issues of Islam and how one sees it portrayed in our community, and certainly also having a conversation around civility in politics. So it's going to be a great opportunity to interact. We'll be doing it on all 3 campuses, but more importantly, looking forward to see lots of folks come out. That might have been my longest intro, but I wanted to get all that information in, and with that, I turn it over to you, Maestro.
All right, we're going to start with an online question. This is from David Newman, PhD. Dr. Pollard, I am aware that this spring many courses, CA 300, were canceled. This has left a substantial number of senior part-time faculty suddenly without work or with only half their income. If enrollment comes back up, can the college give some rehiring preference to those part-time faculty that lost their jobs or classes who have taught at the college for many years? Can the college work with the state to find a path whereby part-time faculty, especially those whose classes were canceled within a few weeks of the start of the semester, could receive unemployment benefits?
Thank you, David, for the question. When I get these in advance, I have the opportunity to do a little research on this. So I actually had some research done on this, and I wanted to talk with you about it because your question is a very good one, and it also illustrates some of the challenges we have at the college. So indeed, this spring, there were 300 sections that were canceled as a result of low enrollment. Let me share with you, though, that the average number of students in each canceled section was 5, right? So the reality about this is that if we had not been very thoughtful about the strategy, we would have had a class running with 5 students in it, and that's an unsustainable practice, all right? Plain and simple with that. And this is important because I charged Dr. Rye after having a very distinctive conversation with Dr. Wormack, and we're going to have the same conversations with Dr. Brown as well. This idea that we cannot have these levels of low enrollment. So we chart, because our part-time faculty budget, anybody want to know how much we overspent last year? 4.5 million. Cheater. Because he's heard the story. $4.5 million we overspent in our part-time faculty budgets. So the reality about this is that as an institution, We can't let sections go that are low enrolled, and we have to make difficult decisions. But guess what? Every student, those 1,500 students who were dropped from classes were contacted and redirected into courses that would allow them to continue their course of study here at the college. We are attempting to have an average of an 85% fill rate. This spring we reached it, and hopefully you have the high. Now, of course, it starts to go away as students change classes or don't continue. So this is a very significant issue for us. We're going to continue to look at this. This is a scheduling phenomenon, and as a result of our academic master plan, we have a team being led by Provost Latimer, who's going to actually take us through these conversations of designing a schedule. I was struck by this, and I have to remember the numbers. How many seats are available this spring for classes? 70-some thousand.
So typically in any semester, we overschedule by 20,000.
Right. So we have about 70-some thousand seats that we can schedule. We ended up, that we have, and we scheduled 90,000. So we went into it with an error in how we would go about this process. So we are being very deliberate as an organization. I do think that there are opportunities to explore at the state how this wants to play itself out. I don't know that, but what I can do at this college is control the things that we have to control. And with that, low enrolled classes can't continue. We have to be very thoughtful about the budget that we have, and we have to live within that budget as an organization.
All right. Another online question. This is from Professor Brown, no relation. Part-time musical faculty, Tacoma Park, Silver Spring. Dr. Pollard, in this age of college shootings, how important is it that Montgomery College is prepared for handling a gunman on campus? The college now offers active shooter training, but like all other recommended trainings, the part-time faculty are not paid for their time to complete it. That means that as many as 900 of our employees may be ill-equipped to handle a shooter outside their classrooms, leaving our students vulnerable. Is this situation acceptable to you?
What is unacceptable to me is, unfortunately, living in a society where we have violence that takes place on college campuses. We see this each and every day. And many of us have read the headlines for the last several years where we have seen shootings and other violent acts on campus. In terms of compensating, let me put this up front to part-time faculty for that. That is a mandatory subject of negotiation. So I understand that SEIU is negotiating right now with our human resources team as a result of the contract extensions that we're in right now. I think that's a great topic that is at the table. So I'm not going to talk about things that are at the table because that would be inappropriate for me to do that. But what I will offer to you is that it would be my expectation that every employee is actively engaged around these issues, that they're doing not only professional trainings that we offer through the college, but they're doing reading on their own and being prepared for that. But what I can tell you is that we are right now finishing a video specifically around active shooting. It'll be finished in about 3 to 4 weeks from what I understand. And right now there is a video currently on the Montgomery College website that is useful and short. Active shooter cards are available, and then I'm working to get some of them included in part-time faculty events, including the April 8th Love of Teaching event. We're working in contract negotiations, as I said, regarding the other issues in terms of compensation. But I do think it's important to recognize that each and every one of us has a responsibility for our workplace and for the students that we serve and work with to be actively engaged and to be trained. And I appreciate the question.
All right. Our next question is along the same lines. It's from Lena Chowdhury, and she said that yesterday I attended the workshop by Don Moores. It was very interesting, but it left me with many questions. One, does the college have a plan of action if ICE were to show up on campus? If not, is that in the works? You want me to take them one by one, or?
Just knock them all out.
Knock them all out. All right. What is suggested that I do or not do if ICE were to show up in my classroom? And three, in addition, is it appropriate for me to post information from the ACLU or United We Dream, both suggested by Moores, as to what an individual should do if ICE were to approach them?
So I'll start with the last one. I'm unfamiliar with what the ACLU's information is, and I would encourage, since the college doesn't have an official affiliation with that entity, I would refer the faculty member to the information that I put in my letter that actually gave them some specific places to go to get information, because I do think, and I hear this so much from faculty who are wondering, what can I say or do with our students? So I would refer you to that piece of information and the links that were in there. I think the other thing that I would share with you, I think it was 2011, I was looking in my notes here, ICE enforcement at that time put out a memo that college campuses, universities and college campuses, were considered sensitive locations, and agents were discouraged from visiting those spots. Now, I don't know if that will continue to be the philosophy of the agency, but I do have confidence in the fact that if this were to happen on our campus, there are two things that are available to you. One, immediately call campus safety. We are subject, obviously, to certain federal and state regulations, so we want the people who are professionals to be prepared to respond to that. So please call campus safety. Every person who is an employee of this institution, perhaps even our students, should have campus safety in your contacts, and you can call them very quickly. Secondly, if you need specific advice, to call our Office of General Counsel. Tim Dietz is very good at this work. He understands a lot of the things that are coming out, even in this rapidly evolving environment. So I would encourage you to do that if you have additional questions. If someone shows up in your classroom, contact campus safety, and then we can also contact the Office of General Counsel.
Okay, another online question.
Okay.
This one is unattributed, which of course is breaking the rules.
I was going to say, you know how I feel about those.
They didn't listen to my intro, apparently.
All right, that's all right.
I have heard that we purchased a new building and that only administrators are moving to it. Why are we doing this? When the college has funding challenges?
So let me start at the end of the question. The college does not have funding challenges. I really appreciate the question because it gives me an opportunity to deconstruct some things. I have worked in colleges that have funding challenges. These are places where you have asked employees to give back money, you've laid off employees, you've told people that they can only copy 6 sheets of paper per student, you have stopped purchasing equipment, you have stopped travel completely for employees, you've disinvested in professional development. Those are organizations that have funding challenges. What we have at Montgomery College is an opportunity to spend the money that we have, not the money that we used to have. That's a reality check, right? So our enrollment has contracted. The reality about this is that their public investment in higher education continues to be wonderful. We live in a county and a state that has made and has appropriated $300 and some odd million to us to do the work that we need to do. But that also means that we have to be responsible for that. Just like our county council came to us last year and they said, hey, this is lovely that you've negotiated almost 6% salary increases for your employees. That's a great idea, but guess what? That's not what's happening in the national scene. The state of Maryland had 1 to 2%, I believe it was, salary increases. The federal government had none. Most private businesses around us, maybe we're doing 3% if that. They said, this is lovely if you want to do it, but here's the money that we're going to give you to do that, because this is a new paradigm that we have that we're all operating in. So as a result of that, you've got to think about how you choose to spend the resources you have. We started those conversations around bookstores. We've continued that conversation around childcare. We're going to continue to have that conversation around compensation and benefits. And oh, by the way, we're having that conversation around facilities. Hence the question that you had. The college was paying millions of dollars a year in leasing spaces. Leasing spaces were on West Goody and OITB, where we were putting folks in central services, because all y'all tell us we need to be more effective in communication. You tell us we need to have more efficient processes. Very difficult to do, because half the time people are running up and down 355 and talking to each other and having meetings in cars. And our foundation board came to us and said, this is insane, because guess what? The market is primed for you to be able to buy a building and move all essential services together, and also allow you to have Manakee, which the college owns, to take some things that you have on all 3 campuses bring them to Manatee, allow WDCE to have more space, do more things for training for your employees, and oh, by the way, provide more space on the college campuses. So they said to us, we'll purchase this building for you. We'll help you purchase a building because we are also using our own dollars to support that. And we will save over 30 years approximately $40 million. Now, I don't know about you. That's not a financial, what was the phrase?
Challenge.
Challenge. It's not a financial challenge. That's smart business. It is smart. We have some people who came to us and said we can help you do it. Now, how big is this building we just bought? 115,000 square feet. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. There are 85 or so administrators at the college. We don't need 115,000 square feet. What we do need, though, are all the employees who are composed in central services, almost all of them to be in one space. That is administrators. That is staff. That is lots and lots of staff who are going to be in there. The only people who are not in the building are faculty, because guess what? Faculty on the campuses teaching. So we brought folks together and we've had some good conversations, healthy, robust dialogue about how space is going to be, and we're doing things differently in space there. Our practices have not been sustainable, so we are doing things differently. And that allows us to redirect services and money to our students and to student learning. That's the work that we want to be doing. I don't want to be paying lease money to somebody else. What I want to be able to do is to put that money to help support students. So I think I answered all that question a little bit more.
All right, before I take another online question, any questions here in the room? Any questions here in the room?
Y'all so shy.
There we go.
All right.
Good afternoon, Dr. Pollard.
Good
My name is Essie Tawanda Piri, and I am a student in the mental health program. This is my second year in the mental health program, and I would like to know from you why we do not have a full-time employee from the acting director to the last instructor.
I don't know that specifically. I can go and look, but there are a number of factors that go into why one has a full-time employee. Typically, one is going to be an enrollment projection. In order to have a full-time faculty member, you have to be able to have an enrollment that is sustainable for their course load, whether that be 5 classes, 4 classes, depending on the credit hours you want to have that. A lot of times also you're driven by accreditation standards. So a lot of our programs, particularly in this campus in health sciences, they have an accreditation standard that dictates that. Probably the last thing that relates to it is also the enrollment fluctuation. You want to be able to have a pattern of consistent enrollment in the number of people who take those courses in the program of study. I don't know that, but I'm very happy, and I don't know if anybody in this room knows anything specifically about the mental health program. Ah, the Dean is here.
I'm Nancy Pickwick, the Dean of Health Sciences. And to answer your question, we had a retirement in that area on October 1st, and through the process by which those positions are approved, we're in that pipeline. It goes to the next committee tomorrow and then to Dr. Rye. And if everything's approved, then we'll advertise this spring and have somebody ready for fall.
I think a lot of students will be very happy about that because we do not have a faculty member in the office every day of the week. They're only there on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Correct.
And some students really don't have time on those days.
Great answer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is why I have great people in the room.
Okay, we have another question up front here.
We have one from Facebook Live about constructing, is there any plans to construct a building for the health fitness program in Tacoma Park?
Health fitness, that is not, if I'm correct, on the facilities master plan. The next planned building for the Tacoma Park Silver Spring campus is a math and science building that we're in the process of gathering money now to plan for, to be able to design the building and work with the neighborhood to craft a facility that's responsive to the needs of the community. There is not a plan at this particular point. I think in the facilities master plan, in maybe 10 years, I think there's an opportunity. But the reality of that for us is also to figure out how we can partner with the city and the county to meet that need. We will be landlocked on this campus in the very near future once that building is crafted. So it will require a lot of collective effort. There's been some interest of us trying to partner with the city to do some work. The county has some interest. Actually, the county is putting some type of wellness aquatic facility in Tacoma Park, if I'm correct, as a part of the budgeting process right now. Thank you. You're welcome. Facebook Live.
Any other questions here in the room? Here we go. Coming over. Wait till I get there.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Dr. Pola.
Good afternoon.
I'm really appreciative of the privilege and the opportunity to be here today. I'm actually a life science student. I'll be going to the starting the nursing program in the fall semester. And then I'm really passionate about how I can improve the quality of health in my own generation, in my society, most especially. And then I was given an opportunity to travel to Ethiopia last year for a research study on the...
I saw your paper presentation. Yeah, I remember this. Good.
So on the medicinal importance of plants, and then I've really been working on it. I actually had my internship at Library of Congress as well, and I wrote a research paper. And this time I was given a scholarship to Iceland, like to probably work more on the on my goal actually. But there's this challenge. I was given partial scholarship. I have a challenge getting funds to add up to the remaining. I'm having challenge, but I really want to participate in the program because I'm looking at studying the health system of people in different parts of the world. And I've been able to go to Africa, and now I'm privileged to go to the Europe, which I've never been before. So I'm just, seeking for support in terms of how I can get the fund. And it's due April. So I'm really...
So what I think is really important about several things you're coming, thank you for that. I happened to be at the GHI, I think it was, no, I can't remember what form it was. Was it honors program? I can't remember what you all did, a series of poster presentations of students and faculty talking about their international experience. I remember yours, a medicinal medicine of Africa. You talked about some tree that dropped. I remember it because that was very distinctive. So one, it made me happy to hear that the college has provided you with these opportunities. That's the beautiful part about working at and living and attending Montgomery College, because as an organization we have a long history of supporting this type of work by our students. What I would offer to you is a couple of things. One is that there's a gentleman who's sitting in front of you in a blue shirt that you can contact him as he is the Senior Vice President for Advancement, and one of the things that his staff can do is talk to you a little bit about any scholarship opportunities that are available to help with those types of things. Then I also would offer to you, not in here, if you would contact Rita Kronitis. She's our faculty member who's heading up our Global Humanities Institute. She may have some ideas about strategies to help you. Somebody who's sitting around you can give you her name, Rita Kronitis. And she's heading up our Global Humanities Institute and may have some options that she may be aware of. With the timeline that you've suggested, it's a struggle to be able to find something by April. But if there are unrestricted dollars, because the best kind of money to go to the foundation is unrestricted dollars, if there's something that's there, we can see if there's an opportunity to help out. Good luck to you.
Any other questions in the room before I ask another online question? All right.
All right.
This is from Samuel Miller. Will the college continue to advocate for DACA students even if new executive orders target them?
The college has a long history of support of DACA students. In fact, the college was sued for our support of and work with undocumented students regarding our tuition policies. And the Board of Trustees not only authorized me to speak on behalf of that and to advance these issues in our community, the college also was a part of a lawsuit that we were successful in that sued us based on these practices. So we are a college that embraces radical inclusion. We're an organization that believes deeply in the fact that we have students from 160 countries here. We're an organization that embraces the fact that we are 72% non-white, So as a result of that, I can't imagine the organization not being actively engaged in conversations around DACA students and the needs of our immigrant students as well. Thank you for the question.
All right, well, the next question, it's an online question. It's a perfect follow-up to the previous one. What else is the college doing to support students, faculty, and staff who are at risk due to the executive order restricting immigration?
Yeah, I think I hit upon this a little while ago. Obviously, the college, our faculty senate, faculty council has passed a resolution on these issues to help provide support and guidance. Our student affairs team has done an outstanding job at outreaching to students that we know of. In fact, I sat in a meeting not too long ago and listened to Monica and Melissa give us a lengthy understanding of the nuances of the law as it relates to our tuition and so forth, the practices. In addition to that, the college will continue to make information available. Dr. Warmack called and left me a long message last night about some ideas she have about information sessions. One of the things we have to border and walk a very thin line on is that as an organization, we have diverse opinions and perspectives. And I am very cautious of the fact that while we want to support our students as well, we want to create spaces for information, we have to recognize that the beauty of working in an academic organization is that there are multiple views on any number of issues. So we want to be very thoughtful about that, not inhibit anyone's First Amendment rights while advancing a position that supports any particular group of students. So we're going to be continuing to do that. And I think over the long haul is how to point students to references or resources in the community. We want to be very clear about what our competency is as an academic educational institution. What we cannot do is provide legal advice, but we want to make connections to people who can provide that advice, because ultimately these types of decisions that our students have to make and our employees, these are deeply personal ones. So we want to be very thoughtful about that, but also provide resources that are appropriate that we can do. Great question.
All right, this one's change of pace.
Oh, okay.
Who is speaking at the Presidential Dialogue Series?
Oh, that I just talked about? Yeah. We have, as a matter of fact, I have it on here. Let me just look. I skipped it because I thought my intro was getting too long. We have them planned, so I'm really excited about these. The first one are pastors Chris and Dennis Wiley. They're co-pastors of Covenant Baptist United Church of Christ from Washington, D.C. They've done a lot of work in space about reconciliation and processing of issues of race and class and gender, sexuality, and the intersections of that. Very excited to have them on February 28th. The second one is going to be Chief Tom Manger. Not only is he the Montgomery County Chief of Police, but he is the president of the Major Cities Chiefs Association. That's going to be on March 9th, and we're going to have a provocative conversation about policing and understanding how that affects communities. Ambassador Connie Morella, former Congresswoman, ambassador, and Montgomery College professor, on March 30th. She and I have had this running dialogue since the summer. We see each other at all these different events, and we started talking about politics and the lack of civility and how we move toward a place where we actually can see some civility come back. So she and I are going to just have a more formal conversation about this on March 30th. Then on May 8th, we're going to have Neil Saxena and Aman Yaye Hindi. Neil is the executive director at the Asian American Lead organization, has asked some very thoughtful questions at a community engagement event I was at about how communities are processing these issues, how you experience this if you are Muslim, how you experience this if you are in schools and communities. And then the Iman as the first American, he was a chaplain at Georgetown University, the first American university to hire a full-time Muslim chaplain. So we're really excited about these. And if this is successful, the way I hope that it's going to be, bringing different people from the community, the format is going to be literally probably 45 minutes of us talking, fireside chat, opening up to audience, and really encouraging people to figure out how to have these conversations at home, in their communities, at their baseball, at their dinner tables, and really create a different environment for that. Thank you for asking.
All right, this question is from Amanda Stroud from the Germantown Library.
Hey, Amanda.
And she says this is a change of pace question.
Oh.
According to the new MC brand standards and usage guide, We are to use one of 3 email signature formats with the email signature beginning 2 lines below the last line of text. No personal quotes, philosophical statements, colored fonts, photos are allowed. And emails should be typed using the Arial font in 11 point or larger. Do the standards apply for both external as well as internal emails? And what happens if you really dislike the Arial font?
Oh, Amanda, I'm going to have you, Mike, come and give the mic to Ray up here. But I'm going to, Mike, if you can give the microphone to Ray. There's too many mics in that statement, right? But before he does it, so those of you, I have to go and change my email signature. I have to change my email signature. But here's the thing about profession, and I don't know about you, a part of this is also to help in terms of email signatures on multiple devices. It's helping with students and employees and community members with wayfinding. Now, I don't know about you, but I've gotten some emails from people where they're telling me that their signature is longer than the one question they asked me up there because they're the president of this, they on the council of that, they believe in this, they got their fist up. I mean, the whole email, the email signature is very interesting. And the piece of information I may need to call them, their phone number ain't down there, right? So this is an opportunity for us to standardize that, as is the custom in many organizations across the country. This is not something new. But I also think that we have to model this. Arial is not my personal favorite as well. I hate it almost as much as I hate Times New Roman, but it's a part of the work, and I'm going to go and change mine this afternoon, Mr. Ray, but you can talk more about this. I tried to set you up, baby. Go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Pollard. That was a great setup.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Michael, for that question, I think. Part of this goes back to when the college launched its Refresh and brand a few months ago.
Yeah.
And our brand is more than just the logo and the colors. It's how we communicate in every way. It's how we answer the phone. It's how our graphics look on a document, how our letterhead looks. And it's also how we communicate via email. And if our emails are, I'm not trying to take away any individualism here. We're all part of a very diverse community with a lot to say. But we work for a single organization, and having some unity and consistency in how that organization is represented, at least in your signature, would help. Now, if you don't like Arial, I'm not going to come change your font in the middle of the night. The reason, Arial's not my favorite either, but our design team back in the communication shop looked very hard at what would be compatible across lots of different devices. We all have different types of cell phones, tablets, desktops, Mac, Windows, and we looked for a font that we felt would be the most consistently used across different email clients, web email servers, all that. So, okay, you don't like Arial. We're making these recommendations. We'll say it's not a mandate, but we're making these recommendations so that your email will look good and look like everybody else's, like the MC brand, across a lot of different device platforms. So please take a look at those recommendations. We gave you 3 options. We hoped that would be good. And then call the communications office and let us know if we can help you with your specific questions.
That is so nicely said. Is there a way for you to send out a template so that if you want to use this, you can just cut and paste and put your little special stuff in it? Because I admit I went and did something a little special to get the logo the right way. I think I copied it from, I think your email you sent me. I said, oh, I can do that, but I haven't done the rest. So
okay, well, thank you for copying my email.
No problem.
Yes, and that, we're not trying to take away anybody's favorite Winston Churchill quote or anything like that. Save those for your Gmail account if you don't mind. But yes, that's a good idea. We'll create a template we can send out, and you can cut and paste and make it as easy as we can for you to kind of get with the brand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great question, Miss Amanda.
Now I have 2 from Facebook Live.
Oh, boy.
First is Shantae Ramos.
Hey, Shantae.
Sorry. Hello, Dr. Pollard. The school computers on the Tacoma Park campus are slowly deteriorating, and the buildings are in need of repairs. Why is it that the Rockville campus is more equipped to accommodate a decent learning environment without shame? The ladies' bathrooms in the resource center should be maintained. I'm also concerned about the desolate food options. Desolate, sorry about that. What will be done about this abandoned campus?
So I really thank you, Shantae. I would offer that the campus is not abandoned. What I would say, though, is that there is an opportunity that we go through a very rigorous process as an organization to prioritize how we go about the construction and major projects at the campuses. So we have 3 campuses, 2 educational sites, and multiple spaces that we deliver classes. And there's a process we go through annually called a facilities master planning, where we actually align each project. And this is to look at both cash flow and feasibility, enrollment for our students, but also the idea of how do we make sure we respond to immediate needs. So as I don't know if you saw earlier, Shantae, when I was talking about our Tacoma Park Math and Science Building, that is our next and our current priority in this fiscal year, working with the county and state to secure dollars for planning that facility. I don't know about the IT issues that you described. I do know that we have a life cycle process that we use for our computers. They're typically 3 or 4 years, and high use areas, we might need to revisit that, but it also is an issue about the resources that we have to do that. I knew that I could not get through a session, Shantae, without having an IT question asked or a food question. So I will see if Mr. Whitman, who's sitting behind Candy, who's doing this for you, can talk about IT. And then food, I'm going to also then turn over to the lovely Donna Shenna, who can talk a little bit about that as well.
Thank you, Dr. Pollard. As Dr. Pollard mentioned, we have a regular cycle of refreshing computers throughout the campuses. And I must admit, I'm not quite sure where Tacoma Park is on that schedule, but we're meeting in the next few weeks, actually, to develop our priority list for replacements for the summer. And so we'll certainly take this comment to heart and see what the status is at Tacoma Park. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Here, I can help you.
Thanks.
No worries, I'm up.
Hello. Regarding food services, we put together food advisory committees represented with students, 2 students from each campus, and they are helping us assess food services on each of the campuses. And we will be going out with our request for proposal. Our contract with our current vendor is up, and we have learned a lot about what people like and don't like with our food services, and those issues will be addressed as part of the RFP. And we will have a student on the RFP committee.
So, and then let me end this, Shantae. Obviously, we want to make sure if there are questions regarding facilities and bathrooms, send me an email or send it to the college, and we will make sure it gets to the provost. I know for a fact that all 3 of the provosts work diligently with the facility staff to ensure that the college is clean, it's safe, and that the environment is conducive to learning. If there are particular problems, which I don't doubt, in any given campus at any given time, we want to be responsive to that. So thank you very much for raising it.
Another Facebook question.
Wow, this is awesome.
Ann Brutus Mesidor, do your employee staff require a state background check for employment?
For certain positions, it is required. It is not required for all employees. We have, and I'm going to say this, certain categories of employees based on their contact in certain areas have to take background checks, but it's not required of all employees at this time. That's correct?
Great, thank you. And I apologize in advance, Gauthier Penel Itoko, what should I do if I want to have a roommate?
Oh, that's kind of cool. Well, one, you can't have a state background check done by the college for them. There is a way that you can, we have bulletin boards across the campus. I see them all the time with postings for roommates and apartments and so forth. You can post there. I don't know if we have anything on the web where we could do that. Not yet, but it might be, Craigslist, that might be another place to do that. Kangaroo, that's a entity. The college typically doesn't facilitate that though, because that is something that we want you to feel comfortable in choosing your own roommates. Thank you for the question though. And someone just corrected me, for new hires, we would be doing background checks, but not for existing employees.
All right, we have an online question. MR from Mount Airy.
All right, Mount Airy.
All right. You are presenting with MCPS Jack Smith and Councilmember Rice in education budget forums. What can you learn from MCPS in terms of preparing our college as we'll see those constituents in a couple of years?
It's a great question. Thank you, MR from Mount Airy. You know what's very provocative about that is I've been sitting through, we had the first one of those last night, hence the glasses today, and then we have 4 more planned throughout the next month or so. To look at the enrollment growth that's anticipated in MCPS and the next 10 years is staggering. They are planning the next 10 years to add almost, if I want to say, 3,000 students in the next 10 years. That is larger than half of the school districts in the country, right? I mean, this is kind of amazing when you think about this. So if they're going to be adding all of these students, and these students are going to have a background that is going to hopefully prepare them to want to stay in county for their education and to go to college, that is going to be a role that we'll be seeing. So this enrollment decline that we are seeing right now because there are smaller graduating classes, this bubble that they have right now in middle school and starting high school, they anticipate that that bubble is going to be moving out over waves the next several years. The kindergarten, those of us who have children in MCPS, anybody here got kids in MCPS? You know for a fact, you walk into they're popping up elementary schools all over the place because we have this massive influx of students who are coming into our community. So one of the things I'm learning is that we need to be prepared for that, to know that these students are going to come here. These students may look, sound, learn, and need things differently than students that we've had before. So how do we as an organization prepare for that through our professional development, through our classroom spaces? Last but not least, these students are highly technology-based, highly. My kid doesn't have a textbook. He's in 4th grade. He has no textbook. So when we think about what this looks like for us, yes, I'm not mandating anybody have text. We go to OERs and all of this, but what I would tell you is that the students who are coming to us will have these expectations. And if we aren't prepared to respond to that, guess what? They will make selections with their feet and go to other organizations. I'll just leave that out there for you. Thank you for the question.
All right. This is from Chooses Not to Be Identified in Gaithersburg.
Okay. I may choose not to answer, but go ahead.
There was a story recently on a local TV station regarding our partnership with the Department of Corrections. And we are also strong supporters of international students. How can you balance such a wide spectrum of provocative political issues?
That is the work of community colleges. When we think about the fact that we were formed over 100 years ago, community colleges, we were called to do this type of work. We were challenged to respond to growing populations in the K-12 space that were not pursuing higher education. We were called to respond to veterans who were coming back from the shores of multiple wars and not being educated to step into the new economy that was taking place at that time. And now we have folks who do not have access to higher education. So one of the things I think is important is that we are a unique and distinctly American sector of higher education. There are very few countries that have community colleges, and none of them look like the community college system that we have and enjoy in the United States. For us, we are a reflection of our community, plain and simple. If our community is healthy, then we are healthy as a college. If our community is not healthy, we are not healthy as a college, and we have to play a role in ensuring the community's health. So international students, they come to this country, they come to our college, we embrace and welcome and try to figure out how we can meet them where they are. I had, at that time, the warden of the prison in the jail in Boyd's, he said to me, I was doing a tour, and it was a profound moment, and I'm with a group of people, and he had, I think, 5 different inmates who were talking and telling their story. They didn't know who I was, they didn't know anything about the college, but they did know something about the college, they didn't know I was in there. Each and every one of them was telling their story, their pathway of how they ended in jail. One of my classmates, I was in a leadership program, Leadership Montgomery, said to them, well, what are you planning to do so that you aren't back here? To a person, not knowing me, not knowing the story, said, I'm either going to Montgomery College or I'm returning to Montgomery College. So it struck me, and I remember Rob saying this, he said, so Darian, how you want them back, right? Do you want them to come to the community, back into your homes and back into our communities with the same skill sets or the lack thereof that helped them be in the jail in the first place? Or do you want to partner with us and figure out how we can help create a different reality for them, because we all need them to come back and work and be successful? So call me a little crazy. I have this really broad perspective that this is what community colleges are about. But at the end of the day, it's my personal motto. I saw this quote and it has changed my life. A civilized society will ultimately be judged by how it treats its littlest, its last, and its least. I don't know about you, but that gives me, every time I hear it, littlest, last, and least. So I think that's what we specialize in Montgomery College and in community colleges in general. It is an awesome responsibility. It can feel overwhelming sometimes, but if we learn how to partner with people, I think we can have multiplying effects about how this happens.
All right, we have time for a couple quick questions.
Quick ones, all right. Means don't give a dissertation? Okay.
Right. I have heard the professional development program might be cut. Is that true?
No! And this is a pet peeve of mine. I'm sorry. I had to say this because I just had a whole meeting with somebody, a group of people, and I said, the thing we are not touching is professional development. There's an investment in that and the reason why. So no, sorry, I can't do a dissertation. No, no, no.
All right, here's another quickie. Most students' favorite method of communication is text, but faculty don't have college-issued phones. How can we bridge the gap in communication?
That's a really good question. One is that you can use their online mechanisms that actually allow you to text message with an app. I forget what this called. There's several of them out there. Messenger, anything. So you can use, you don't have to have a college-issued cell phone to text students. So I don't necessarily see that in the future. However, I do think it's an interesting conversation of should we be buying telephones for people? Do we give them cell phones? But what happens when folks lose their cell phone? What happens when they, right now Verizon's giving everybody free data. What happens when they're not giving everybody free data anymore? So I think it's a very complex conversation, but there are multiple ways to connect with students texting without using a cell phone to do that.
All right, we have about 2 minutes left. And this question asks you to talk a bit about the new science building that opened this morning.
Okay, I would tell you that if I had got to study in that building or study at the Germantown campus, I would be a scientist. I have no doubt in my mind that I would be a scientist because those buildings are inspirational. They create spaces. Now, I took physics for poets. I did. I can write a wonderful piece about angular momentum, but I cannot do a calculation to figure it out. But what I think is important is that our students deserve state-of-the-art facilities to learn in, and our faculty deserve spaces that allow them to be the faculty that they intend to be for our students. I think they're absolutely phenomenal. It took us how long to get that building built in Rockville? 12 years to get the complex done. 2004 is when we started looking at the Tacoma Park Silver Spring campus. This right now is the first time we're getting money. So I'm hopeful that I will be able to see this building done before I'm walking out the door and retiring. So that's an exciting thing.
Any last quick questions in the room? Okay. All right. Well, Dr. Pollard.
All right. Oh, good. I like hearts. Okay, good. Oh, there's one last one in the back of the room.
Oh, one last real quick one.
Yeah, you
gotta
got
be quick though.
Yeah, it's not a question. It's just a thank you. 2 weeks ago, 7 of us, Model UN participants, represented Montgomery College at the United Nations headquarters.
Yes.
And we just wanted to say thank you because it wasn't cheap. It was almost $1,000 each student, plus the faculty member, which was $8,000. So we just want to say thank you.
Thank you. And I followed y'all on Twitter. I saw that. Good job.
Thank you, Dr. Pollard, and thanks to everyone in the room and online for participating in today's town hall. Now, I would encourage you to keep an eye on the President's Corner Monday message and also Inside MC online for all the information on the upcoming state of the college. It is scheduled for March 28th. We've got a little bit of a different format this year. Dr. Pollard is going to be joined by 3 former Montgomery College presidents, and they're going to take a special look at how the impact of community colleges has expanded over the last decades. So that should be very interesting. Again, that's March 28th. And as always, to keep up with everything happening at MC, follow Montgomery College and Montgomery College Television on social media.